This building is located on Hengqin Island, right across from Macau. I'm sharing the address of the building so interested friends can explore it at night with friends or family. I think entering an unfinished building at night and testing your courage is a great adventure. This is an unfinished building called Dongxi Hui. Tonight, my brother and I are going inside together. We're going to head upstairs. This is my first time trying this kind of night exploration. Look at those green lights flashing non-stop. The building is packed with piles of old construction materials. Oh my god, this building is completely abandoned. The one next door is mostly finished on the outside, but the one we're in isn't even completed yet. The unfinished building in the video is on Hengqin Island in Guangdong Province, China, also known as Hengqin Guangdong Macau Deep Cooperation Zone. It's located in the southern part of Zhuhai City, right next to Macau, and is jointly governed by Macau and Guangdong Province. Its total population is 53,040. As of March 1, 2024, Hengqin began operating under a closed customs management system. Hengqin Island is no ordinary place. It's another one of Chinese President Xi Jinping's dreams. This significant development project was personally announced by Xi during his inspection of Macau in 2009. With initial investments reaching 72.6 billion yuan, or about 10.4 billion. Since then, additional investments worth hundreds of billions have been made in high-speed rail and other supporting infrastructure. Hengqin Island is one of Xi Jinping's key achievements. He has personally visited the area 5 times, with the most recent visit being on December 19, 2024, after attending the 25th anniversary of Macau's sovereignty transfer. He remarked, "The central government has decided to develop Hengqin to promote moderately diversified economic development in Macau." Regardless of how promising Xi claims this project to be, 15 years have passed since 2009, and Hengqin Island has been described by visitors as a ghost town. It's well known that since taking office, Xi has overseen several performance projects, each ending up as unfinished projects. Let's take a look at some videos uploaded by netizens. Now, we're at Hengqin's largest unfinished building called Dongxi Hui. There are water puddles below, and the entire building is in a state of suspension. Because filming isn't allowed here, I can only show you the entrance from inside the car. Dongxi Hui is currently one of the most thoroughly abandoned properties in all of Hengqin. We are now on Hong Kong Macau Avenue in Hengqin, and on the right you can see a building called Yongtongchang Times Square. It's also in an unfinished state, with all the construction halted. Not a worker in sight, and even the security post at the entrance is deserted. Such a large project has been left to waste. It's really a shame. What we see now is a high-rise building. The steel wires on top are already rusty, and the building doesn't even have a roof. Moreover, there are no scaffolds for construction. These unfinished buildings are part of the Zhuhai Zhangxing headquarters project. All a complete waste. This office building called Jinmao Coordinate is also unfinished. There's nothing in the lobby, and it's very dusty inside. All the elevators are unusable, and we can see at the entrance the entire area is overgrown with weeds, giving the impression that it's been abandoned for a long time. The second phase of the Zhuhai Hengqin building project is about to be halted. We are dismantling construction platforms and protective nets. On December 20th, Radio Free Asia published an article mentioning, "The past effectiveness of Hengqin has been questioned and has long been labeled a dead town." However, the official reports from the Communist Party state that the number of businesses from Macau and Hengqin has exceeded 6,000, a growth of 42% compared to the initial phase. The number of Macau residents living and working in Hengqin has increased by 17.1% and 6.4% respectively. Regarding GDP, the Hengqin Cooperation Zone generated a GDP of RMB 373.49 billion in the first 10 months of this year. But what is the real situation? Let's take a look at the real estate broker's on-site footage. A broker recently observed multiple residential areas at 8 p.m. and found that the occupancy rate was about 30 to 40%. Even the comprehensive housing Macau New neighborhood, originally providing over 4,000 residential units, had almost no visible lights from residents, with an occupancy rate estimated to be less than 10%. Near the border crossing, the once promising Hurong Qinhai Bay, which attracted many investors, now has an occupancy rate of less than 10%. The commercial street Central Plaza sees very few visitors, while the newer mall in Valley still has half its shops unopened and is nearly deserted in the afternoons. Restaurant occupancy there is also below 10%. Ao Kam Son, a former pro-democracy legislator in Macau, stated that the idea of co-developing Hengqin to promote moderate economic diversification in Macau is pure fantasy. While the development of Hengqin has provided Macau with some investment and employment opportunities, it hasn't made any substantial contribution to diversifying Macau's industries. The problem is that Hengqin's GDP doesn't belong to Macau. The industries aren't part of Macau, and the tax revenues don't go to Macau either. It also doesn't provide job positions that meet the living standards of Macau residents. So even if Hengqin develops well, it has no relation to Macau. Now let's take a look at what Chinese netizens living in Hengqin are saying. Zhuhai Hengqin has turned into a ghost town. After an RMB 260 billion investment, world-class infrastructure, and top-notch transportation hub, I wouldn't say the investment has gone to waste, but it's definitely not going to provide returns in the short term. Aside from some popularity from Changlong, there aren't many people in other areas. The Hengqin port is so large, yet the daily traffic is minimal, which is such a waste of this great location. Ghost cities like Zhuhai's Hengqin aren't rare in China. At first, the government's plans sounded great, and construction kicked off in a rush without much thought. Decisions about who would invest and build were mostly left to local urban development companies. However, a lot of China's problems are tied to these local financing companies. These companies are basically the favorites of local governments. Most of their employees are the kids or relatives of powerful officials, often with no real expertise. Anyone could get in. Once a project starts, no one really cares what happens after it's done, or if it's never finished. A lot of projects are rushed into without proper planning, ultimately driving up local debt. With that kind of setup, it's no surprise things end up like this. Zhuhai's Hengqin has been under development since 2009. 15 years isn't a short time. The original plan was that after the free trade zone implemented its closed customs system on March 1, 2024, this change should boost goods movement, attract more consumers with duty-free shopping, and make the free trade zone a hotspot for investment. Domestic and foreign capital was expected to pour in eagerly. However, the reality is the complete opposite. Investors are few and far between. Today, the Hengqin Free Trade Zone feels like a dream that never came true, and Hengqin itself resembles a ghost town, empty and deserted. Why are there so many unfinished projects in China? Australian liberal legal scholar Yuan Hongbing says that Xi Jinping is nicknamed the Emperor of Unfinished Projects because China is a dictatorship and Xi is using his authoritarian power to achieve his Chinese dream. But does Xi really have the ability to accomplish this? Currently, officials in Beijing have given Xi Jinping the title of Emperor of Unfinished Projects. In his mind, apart from the entire set of political and economic ideologies from the Cultural Revolution, he has nothing else. This person, who should have been discarded by the times, is actually using dictatorial power to directly lead and execute everything happening in China. In the end, the entire tyranny of the Chinese Communist Party under Xi Jinping's dictatorship is bound to become the largest unfinished project, which means that the Chinese Communist Party is heading towards its own demise. China's economy continues to slump, and public concern for the future is increasingly growing, yet the CCP government emphasizes that the economy is recovering. Meanwhile, all the major projects that Xi Jinping personally sanctioned during his tenure have ended up as unfinished ventures. Chinese netizens created a poll for the worst unfinished projects, with the top 3 being trillion yuan chip project, Belt and Road Initiative, and Chang'an New Area. The root cause of many unfinished projects in China is that they are initiated not from the perspective of societal or economic development, but for personal political gain and the pursuit of achievements. These projects are launched under strong government pressure, often taking advantage of favorable economic conditions and massive investments. Many individuals exploit these achievement projects for personal profit. However, even after investing huge sums, when the project shows no real results, the government covers up the fact continues to boast about progress, and pours in even more money, creating a vicious cycle. American political commentator Tongjing Yuan also analyzes, many projects in China aren't established from the perspective of social and economic development, but rather politics overrides economics, which seriously contravenes economic rules. Politics always comes first, and everything has to follow the party's orders. Even foreign companies must set up party branches. This completely ignores basic economic rules. Xi Jinping thinks that by relying on his internal circulation model, which doesn't depend on foreign capital or technology, he can magically create a prosperous economy. But that's just not going to work. During Deng Xiaoping's time, we saw the development of many special zones that seemed successful. But this success wasn't because of the CCP's brilliance or policies. It mainly relies on attracting external funds and technologies, and then the Chinese Communist Party replicates and imitates these technologies, using a shortcut approach to temporarily gain some benefits. Xi Jinping, however, has a huge misconception. He believes the CCP can do it all on its own and succeed in any project, like the current development of Hengqin. But in the end, these projects will end up as unfinished failures. That's all for today. If you enjoy our content, please remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment, or share it with your friends. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time.